Hello, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. And thanks so much for your patience as I was not filming as often as usual as we were transitioning Coco to her adoptive family, which actually has inspired a change in what I'm filming and posting today or in the next few days. But that's just because this was constantly on my mind. Thank you so much for all of your comments, for your support of me, your support of fostering animals. And I just really adore all of you so very, very much. This is such a compassionate space to be in, I think, and I'm grateful for all of you. The experience with Coco made me think about the books about dogs that are on my shelf, and there's a lot of them, but I happen to be thinking about just the fostering process and letting go of dogs because our dog, Winifred, had a little bit of a health issue this past weekend as well. My daughter's dog, Lily, also had a bit of a health challenge this weekend. So it was dogs were in the forefront of all of my thoughts. Now, don't worry, I will be doing a video about cats as well, actually fairly soon because it is almost Sheldon's birthday. So I'm going to make something as a tribute to him as well as to the books that I have about cats, but there are fewer of them, I think. But today we're going to talk about the books about dogs. I have a couple that are nonfiction, and I have a few that are fiction, some that I've read, some that I haven't. So we shall see where this goes. All right, let's start with the books I've read. And these are tricky. These are just tricky. This one is The Dogs of Babel by Carolyn Parkhurst. This one is a beautiful, strange book, but beautiful, and also a bit sad. So this is about a man whose wife passes away suddenly, and he has no idea what happened. He was gone and he returned, and she was gone. And his dog was with her when he found her body, and he is curious about how this happened, obviously. What happened to his wife? Did she take her own life? Did she fall in an accidental way? He's very disturbed by this. So he tries to figure out how to read his dog's thoughts and to allow his dog to learn how to talk. This becomes quite an endeavor for him, and it is very emotional. It is, as the book says, strange. This blurb is from the New York Times. It says, "A captivatingly strange book rises to reach a final moment of pure, stirring grace." And I think that that's true. I really would like to reread this one. I know I say this all the time about rereads, but I have a plan for that. But honest to goodness, this one, while difficult at times, was really beautiful. The same true for this one, which one of my dogs chewed the bottom off, and it was probably a foster dog because my dogs don't typically chew, but this is The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein, and this has been made into a movie, and it's starring the actor from... I'm currently rewatching Gilmore Girls, so it's the actor that plays Jess, whose name I can't remember, and I'm not going to take the time to pause here and look it up. But also, he was in another series that we love too. But this book is, I think, much better than the movie was. This was written several years ago now. It's been a long, long time since it came out. This came out in 2008. So this is about Enzo, and he's a dog who's very human in his nature, which I think all dogs really are. And he really has sort of a knack for doing some things that other dogs cannot do. And his owner, whose name is Denny Swift, is a race car driver, or at least he's trying to be a race car driver, hence the title. And the line that I just want to read to you from the synopsis is, "Enzo has gained tremendous insight through Denny into the human condition, and he sees that life, like racing, isn't simply about going fast. Navigating the challenges of life, navigating the desires that we have for our futures." It was just beautiful. I really loved it, and I highly recommend it, even if you are a little on the fence about it, or if you don't like things that are emotionally gripping. Let's just say that. These all might be emotionally gripping, to be quite honest, because they're about dogs. Okay, so we're in a slump here in terms of happiness versus sadness, but this is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. I've had this for a bit, got it from a local library sale. My partner, I think, did read this one. It is not long. I would like to read this. It is probably a little difficult because the dog in the nighttime is not alive when the dog is found, but it is beautifully written, I hear, and it is also about, for me, this is one of the things that drew me to it. It's also about a young man who has autism, and he is very brilliant. He can count, he can relate to animals. He doesn't like the color yellow, but he's very, very brilliant about sensing what animals are feeling and sensing probably what humans are feeling too, which is very common for children with autism. So he finds a dog in the neighborhood that died, and he wants to investigate this, I guess. That's my thought. That's all I know, and I really want to know more. So this one is going to be a priority on the list at some point, maybe in November, because I have a plan for some of my backlist. Lily and the Octopus by Stephen Rowley is another book I've had for quite some time. I think my partner has read this one too, because she devours all the books about dogs first. But this one is by Stephen Rowley, and I've never read anything by Stephen Rowley. I'm going to read you the synopsis because it's so well written. Love is an act of courage. This is a story about that special someone, the one you trust, the one you can't live without. For Ted Flask, that someone special is his aging companion, Lily, who happens to be a dog. Lily and the Octopus reminds us how it feels to love fiercely, how difficult it can be to let go, and how the fight for those we love is the greatest fight of all. Combining the emotional depth of The Art of Racing in the Rain and the magical spirit of Life of Pi, Lily and the Octopus is an epic adventure of the heart. Remember that last book you told someone they had to read? Lily and the Octopus is the next one. I have chills. Every time I read that, I have chills. Clearly, I need to prioritize this one. I've had it for a number of years. Stephen Rowley wrote this novel first, 305 pages long. But again, this one's been out for a good number of years. This came out in 2016. So, why have I not gotten to this? I don't know. I even remember where we bought this book and where we were. We were on a little trip away to Oxford, Mississippi, as we used to do much more often than we do now. But yes, I need to get to that one too. All right, this one is going to be a challenge for a couple of reasons. This is the story of Edgar Sawtelle. This is by David Wroblewski. I hope I said that correctly. This was one of Oprah's picks when she was still on television. This was her 2008 selection, so it's been out for a while. And I've had it for a bit. The size of it was a little intimidating for me. You know, I sometimes do get intimidated by large books, but also the premise of it is a little intimidating. So Edgar Sawtelle is, I think, a young boy. I'm not certain what his age is, but he is mute. He's not able to speak, and he speaks in sign with his family. He lives with his mom and dad, and they have a big area, I think a farm in Wisconsin, and they are breeding a certain type of dogs, and this is a fictional type of dog, so it's not something that we know about in the real world today. But Edgar has this one particular dog, Almondine, who I think maybe is the beginning of this breeding system. I'm not sure, but Almondine and Edgar are like this. They do everything together. Something happens to Edgar's father, and he passes away. And is it his uncle? I think it's his uncle. Yes, Edgar's paternal uncle. His name is Claude. He shows up, and Edgar's mom is obviously grief-stricken, as is Edgar. And Claude starts to take over. He not only takes over the farm and all of that, but he's, I think, starting to try to take over Edgar's mom as well. And he's not having it. He's not happy. I'm not sure what happens except turmoil, but he also then, Edgar, tries to convince people that Claude had something to do with his dad's death. But when he can't speak, right? He can perceive, but he can't speak. That must be very difficult. I would really like to get to this. I have forgotten what it was about. It's been on my shelves for so long. It's slightly yellowed. That's how long I've had it. And I really think this would be a good book. I don't know what's keeping me from it. I looked at some of the reviews at my friends that I have similar reading tastes with, have liked it a lot. 4 stars from one of my friends for sure. I remember seeing that, but I think it has mixed kind of reviews, but I'm ready to take this on at some point. So stay tuned for that because I'm going to be talking about it. Nonfiction that I love and want to reread at some point, I know I'm saying it again, is All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot. This is about a veterinarian who tells a story of his experiences with dogs that are ill, and he lives in the countryside in England. He's been dubbed as the world's best loved animal doctor. This was first published over 25 years ago when this version came out, so it's probably about to have an anniversary and maybe a special edition. I would love that. This is mass market paperback is not my favorite, as you know, but I've had this probably because I grabbed it in a little free library at some point because I wanted to reread it. But this is definitely the way in which this man, who also has a beloved dog, navigates his little English countryside and tries to support everyone whose animals are ill. There's also a specific time period in which this occurs. So this is a historical nonfiction. It's entertaining. It's fascinating. It was made into a miniseries. It's on PBS. I wouldn't say it's a mini series anymore because there are 4 or 5 seasons, maybe more. We've watched all but the last one I didn't get to yet, but I love the series. It's one of the first times that I can say I love the book and the series just as much. But there are a lot of other books in this series that I haven't read. So would I like to begin this again? Sure, I absolutely would. So grab it. You won't regret it. This one is tricky. John Katz is a very phenomenal writer about dogs, typically, even though his name is Katz, right? He does have one book that's called Cats on Dogs, but this one is Izzy and Lenore. Have not read this one either. I think my partner has. This is a heartwarming book. So Izzy is a dog that belongs to John Katz, and he begins to take Izzy, as she's been trained to do, into hospice care facilities to be with people at the end stages of their lives. And she's very, very good at that. Nursing home facilities, other places, and an 80-year-old Alzheimer's patient smiles for the first time in months when she pets Izzy, which I can attest to a story I'm going to tell you in a minute that goes along with that. A retired logger remembers his own beloved dog, and Izzy bonds with the patients while Katz focuses on their families and discovers some dark realities that he hasn't really confronted about death as well, which we all, have these moments where we have to come to terms with that. I think that this is going to help, Izzy's going to help John Katz as well as all of these other people. What I'm going to tell you about my mom also had Alzheimer's, and when she was in her, still able to come to have conversations with us, still, very lucid, but also you could tell she had Alzheimer's. There was no question, right? But my mother did not like dogs or cats. No pets in our house. When I was growing up, my dad loved animals. He always wanted dogs. My mom, nope, not happening in her house. I had fish. Okay. So my mom's sitting in my house years ago, and Lisa brings in Winifred, my little Winifred. And She's not so little anymore, but she was a puppy, and there were people that were selling puppies, and you know how she just saw her and said hello, brought her home, convinced me that she wanted to keep her and would keep her. My mother said, "Oh, what a beautiful little dog. Can I hold her?" You guys, that's when we were like, okay, Alzheimer's is really incredible. It is brain altering because this woman does not like dogs. And she looks at me and says, the woman who said for years I shouldn't have all these pets, that they were just difficult, and how could I keep doing this? And there was so much mess and so much to do and blah, 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 blah. This woman says, I think you should keep her. I know. So I think this is definitely a book I need to read in honor of my mother, right? This one is probably the inspiration for this whole video because this comes on the heels of us saying goodbye to our foster dog. This is The Dogs Who Found Me by Ken Foster, and it is indeed about a man who learned from fostering animals, the pets that were left behind by their families. And this one is absolutely, I'm sure, heartbreaking as well as beautiful. Wonderful, strange book, beautiful and funny and moving by Roxana Robinson. But I have not read this one either. This came out in 2006. And there's a quote at the beginning by my favorite poet, Mary Oliver. A dog comes to you and lives with you in your own house, but you do not therefore own her, as you do not own the rain or the trees or the laws which pertain to them. A dog can never tell you what she knows from the smells of the world, but you know, watching her, that you know almost nothing. I just don't know. I have goosebumps again. Like, I don't know why I haven't read this book. No idea, but I haven't. All right, this one is also nonfiction, but also a little bit happier, I think. Kate McDougall's London's #1 dog walking agency. I got this from my partner a few years ago. It came out, I think, just in 2021, maybe, something like that. But this one is about Kate McDougall and her job at Sotheby's. I don't know how to say that. I'm not from the UK. Her friends had dream jobs and they were incredibly happy with the work they were doing, and she was not happy with her work. And so she decided for the next 9 years, the dogs and the people she wanted to support. There's Winston, the Labrador, who isn't allowed to get muddy by his owners, right? And then his owners split up and they enlist her in their custody battle over the dog. There's a trio of Islington couples whose immaculately arranged dog walking schedule goes haywire when one of them gets off the dog walker Kate has employed. And then there's a long-suffering dog agnostic boyfriend, Finley, and her mother, who's always on the alert for wedding bells. Sounds delightful, funnier, happier, hopefully, and I would love to add that to my nonfiction titles. And then the last one, I'm going to leave you on a lighthearted note. We watch Jon Stewart still on The Daily Show. He's not on every night anymore as he used to be, but we just love Jon Stewart, have always loved Jon Stewart, not just because of his comedy and his wit, but also because of the fact that he has supported so many people after 9/11 for their recovery. So many firemen, police officers, so many people were damaged physically by all of the smoke and of the debris and all the things that happened during 9/11. And he has really fought for support and care for all of those folks. This is by his wife, Tracy Stewart, and we've had this for a long time too. Do Unto Animals is a friendly guide to how animals live and how we can make their lives better, and it's illustrated by Liesl Ashlock. Listen, this one has been out for a while too, and you're going to be surprised by how beautiful it is. 2015. Look, just beautiful. So she tells you how to make a frog sanctuary. She tells you how to create a pollinator garden. She tells you about their traditions in their family. Pit bulls, shelter animals with a bad rap. Let me show you that. I'm not doing a very good job here. Give me shelter, adopt, don't shop. I don't know why I haven't gotten to this. Cat grass, hanging bird cat teaser. Do we want to do that to Sheldon? No. 5 ways to make a cat happy. So this is not just about dogs. but it is beautiful. And it is very well written and developed, and people have blurbed it. Guess Jane Goodall blurbed it, and we know that we just lost Jane Goodall not long ago. The horse, the intuitive soul. Yes, indeed, the real pig Latin. Understanding what pigs are saying when they make different sounds and do different things. It's really just fantastic, and I hope it's still in print. I highly anticipate that this will be one I need to get to this year too. I may get to it this next month as well. It would be a quick read because they're short little chapters, but they're just beautiful. Look at this one. The illustrations, Liesel Ashlock did an amazing job of this, and so did Tracy Stewart, and I just think this is incredible. Okay, so that is mostly dogs and a few other species, but again, I will have a video to talk about cat books as well, and if you have any to recommend to me between now and then, feel free to do that. Let me know in the comments below what sparked your interest of this list of books about dogs. Also, let me know if you have dogs in your home or other pets, if you'd like me to know that too. If you don't want to comment, but you want to leave an emoji, you know I'm going to suggest you leave a dog. But if you have an affinity for cats or fish or any other animal other than dogs, you feel free and safe to post that in the comments below as well. I'm going to pop a photo in here of Coco. I'm not going to share any photos of her new mom just because I haven't got her permission and I'm not going to violate her privacy. But this one is just of Coco doing what she does best. And we know that she's having a remarkable time. We've heard from her adoptive mom more than once. She sent lovely pictures to us, and she and Coco are getting to know each other, walking, doing things together, and I think that it is just the perfect match. So while we may have grieved and sorrowed over the loss of her, because we had her for so long, I gotta tell you, it was a rough couple of days, and it's still not completely done, right? It takes us a while to reacclimate to just having the two of ours and our little cat. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for Labs for Rescue, for Motley Mutt, for all the rescues in the Northeast. I'm so grateful for all the people who foster dogs. And I'm so grateful for all of you who sent so many lovely comments and messages and just really reached out to support us in that day and in the days after, because there were some tears, no kidding. Lots and lots and lots of tears. So there might be some tears with these books too, but I think it'll be worth it. So I recommend that you give them a try. And as always, happy reading. Bye.